Today we're going to talk about your test. We'll go through the scores. That'll be the first thing we're going to start. Then we're going to start chapter 7. But again, section 7.1 is based on geometry. We're going to start that today. We're going to do a few vocab words today. Hopefully get these down. We'll get some drawings down. You kind of like it. But the first thing I want to do, let's review the test we just took last week. We didn't get to do that Friday since you guys were actually match testing. I didn't want to take your time to do that. So we'll review chapter 7 test. And then we'll go through the scores and I'll hand those out here in a second so you can see what you got. Again, you can always retake a test, but you have to spend a minimum of 10 minutes with me before or after school to go through review. And then when you retake the test, you take a brand new test that's basically like this, just picking the problems and new pictures. And then you get the better of the two scores. So it's a no-risk gamble if you want to choose to do that. But after that, we have a bunch of vocab today, a bunch of vocabulary about geometry. So we'll talk about points, lines, and planes today.
This thing is brand new.
Lines and planes, and all the interactions of them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I think this is a good start today for that stuff, and then tomorrow we'll kind of go more in depth on the different parts that I want. So we're going to be mixing a lot of different things together. I think, 3 weeks from tomorrow? 3 weeks from tomorrow, I think, is our semester test. I think it's the 24th, whatever that is. I think it's 3 weeks from tomorrow. So we'll get probably a practice guide later this week for the semester test. And then we'll probably have a quiz over this chapter before we get our semester test. So I think that's usually how I do it. We'll see the time frame. All right, let's go through your scores here. All right, perfect. All right, tests. I'm going to want the tests back today, so don't put them away. But there's your test. We're going to go through these here in a minute. Now, the other papers I'm going to hand you, you can actually put away.
Yes.
So this is the homework and stuff. Now, homework you can make corrections on. You can make corrections, turn back in. If you missed anything.
37 out of 49.
What's that?
That's 37 out of 49.
I'll have to look. So, I have to look. I don't know what off the top of my head.
Hey, 42 is better than getting like 20. I was really close.
Close to
I got 25 out of 25. Oh, there's another test that I got 44 on. 21, 9, 6.
5 out of 6.
Okay.
49.
All right.
All
Right. Now, hey, I do want your test back, so don't put them away for right now. Okay. Let's walk through this here. All right. Test. First one. You had to add up all the shaded parts. The first row had 5. This one had 4. That one had 3. This one had 5. This one had 4. 1. This one had 7. That one had 2 and 4. I added up all those. There was 35 of them total, over 100. I wanted to see a fraction, the decimal, and the percent. So you had to write.
I did the fraction and the percent.
Yeah, so I forgot the decimal, so I wanted all of those. So that's what I was looking for. Okay, all right, moving on. Number 2, you just had to move the decimal over 2 spots. If they give you a percent, the trick is just move it over 2 spots, so it's 0.462. That's the easiest way. Or here's the other trick: just take this and divide by 100. We talked about that in class. Percents are out of 100. You can divide by 100 and give me the decimal. Next one. Number 3, you had to take the 22 times 9, which is 198. You add the top number, which is 200, and on the bottom, I told you had to make sure you put 100 on the bottom. So there was already a 9 down there, so when you put 100 on the bottom, it turns out to be 900. So that was your shortcut, or it was 2 over 9, if you will. Okay. All right, moving on. Number 4, you had to divide the numbers. You get 0.06, which is 6%. On this one, you just had to move the decimal over 2 spots. It was already a decimal, so when you move it over 2 spots, you get 90. Okay.
I
All right.
my sunburn.
Okay. Here we go. Let's go to the next one. Okay, number 6. Okay, this is where a lot of people started messing up pretty bad. It was because some people weren't finding out the numbers I was looking for. Okay. All right. Here we go. 18 is what percent of 82? I divide by the 82, gives me a decimal, and that's 21%. Okay, does everyone see that? Okay, next one. 9% of a number is 14. 9% is 0.09 of this number. You divide it by 0.09, you get 155. Okay, next. Number 8. 12% of 106. So 0.12 times 106, you get 12.72. Okay, that was the easiest way if you're doing it by algebra. Now, if you're not doing it by algebra and you're doing it by the proportions, which I think a lot of you are choosing to do, 60 teams total. They're winning 30% out of 100 games. So the idea is that when you cross multiply and divide, you cross multiply this way, divide by the 100, you get the 18. That should be a small amount of games. It shouldn't be a total of 60. I had somebody tell me that the total number of games was more. The games won were more than how many games they played. You can't have that. They played 60 games. Your winning percent was less than that.
I was like, games? Ooh.
80% of students voted. We had 48 students vote. I'm looking for total kids, because obviously you can get 100% of kids voting.
Hey, Mr. Ward.
So you had to figure that out. So you cross multiply and divide. Question?
How good are you at chess?
Pretty good. I'd say.
I haven't beat my dad yet.
Okay.
And he said if I beat him at chess, and this bet still stands, if I beat him at chess, he will buy me a free game.
There you go. It's pretty good.
He's actually
All right.
pretty good at chess. He hasn't won chess.
Okay, number 11.
My dad has a glass set
So,
and a Mario
Okay.
limited
Alright.
edition set.
so Joe's allowance is $12 total. He spends $7.80. We're trying to figure out the percent. You cross, multiply, and divide by 12. You get 65% of his cash he just spent. Calculator. This is the one that I'm kind of worried about. The discount problems. When you multiply by discount, the 10%, 0.10, you get $1. You have to subtract it off. You're getting discount off of that price. You have to take the $1, subtract it off, and get $8.96. I don't care what order you put those in. But that was just sales price. Some people kept adding it. That's taxes. Okay, let's go to the next problem. Okay, we talked about this one on practice test day and on the days we were doing the testing. Okay, did my price go up or down? The TV cost $450, but now it costs $360. You go up or down?
Down.
Went down in price, right? It went from $450 down to $360. That's the sale. So it's a discount. Went down, right? That means they went down $90. Went down $90. You just subtract them. Figure out 90. Well, the trick was you divide by the original price, and that tells you what the percent was. 20%. Talked about that in class. Okay. Ticket sales. You have a certain tax on it. 5% tax on this ticket sale.
I hate tax.
So, yep.
Taxes are so annoying.
It's annoying, but it's important. You know, that's how we have schools. Because
But you do get money every year from taxes.
if you fill them out correctly. All right, now 14.5. You take that number times your 5% tax, which is that. I got 72 cents, 73 cents roughly, and you actually add it back into the price. So the price should go up if you add taxes. So, but again, yeah, I can understand. Like you know what the price of the item is going up to the register, but then suddenly changes because of taxes. All right, 15. 4% at 172
I know the answer.
for 3 years. You multiply and you get
20.64.
20.64. Okay. Next one. 16. You do your financial chart. You have to figure out what 2% is. So 0.025. That's 2%. 2.5%. Right. You multiply. That's at $4. You have to add that $4 back into this price. This is your total on that credit card bill before you make your $25 payment. So you subtract 25. You get $142 left on that credit card. I had some people tell me some really weird numbers. They're getting numbers that were like astronomically high. Like it was only $160 in your credit card. Like you shouldn't have like $1,000 bill at the end of the month. Right? Yeah, it'd be a little outrageous.
Yeah, the warden
Okay.
doesn't max out your credit cards.
All right, real estate agent receives 7% of sales. So 65 grand house, times 7%. This is the cash you get in hand for selling your house. That's the money that they live by.
How much money can you spend on a credit card?
It depends on the limit. So it depends on how much money you make. You have to report how much money you make per year. And if what they do is this calculation where they take how much money you make per year and they divide it. It's usually by like 12, and that's the amount of money that they'll allow you to spend.
Flavor bar.
So let's see. So
Strawberry.
actually, it's a little bit more. So it's almost 10 or 11. So let's see.
Little do you know it actually is blood next to blood.
Yeah, it's about 10 or 11. That's usually what they use, and that's usually the credit limit that they give you. So if you make 65 grand, they usually give you a little bit more than 4 grand to spend on a credit card. I always tell people, don't even get close to that. Spend $30 at a grocery store, go pay it off. Don't rack up and max it out. You max out a credit card, you'll never pay it off. It'll never happen. So you'll be in debt the rest of your life. Be careful of a credit card. It's the scariest thing to have. Okay. Questions on your tests. I want them back. If you're going to choose to retake it, you can come in the morning or after school, and we'll fill out paperwork and we'll go through a couple example problems. And again, if you choose to retake it, you'll get a brand new test. The better the two scores when you take it. So whatever test score is better, that's the one you earn. So you want it no risk. I'd rather have you retake it and be confident than be scared to retake. All right.
How
All right.
Lincoln would say.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's talk about the notes today. So if you put everything away except for your notes, let's have those out here. Let's get rid of the test here that we have. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, so let's get rid of that. Perfect. Okay. So notes today. We're going to talk about some geometry facts. I'd like you to write some words down here, some vocab words. We're going to talk about the word point today. This is one of the first words I always like to discuss with geometry. It's also known as a locus. Not the bug itself, but a locus in math is a particular location in space. A particular location in space. Okay. Now, the big thing about what this is, okay? What a point is. It is labeled with a capital letter. Labeled with a capital letter. Okay. All right. So here's an example. Like if I put a dot here on the board, and I put the letter A here, that's a location in space. It's on my marker board, right? Now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the thickness of the dot. It just matters where it's at. Okay. So this location is very specific. If you put a point on your paper, that's a very specific location in this room. This room has space to it, right? Space is like 3-dimensional, right? Maybe I should define that. The word space is the set of all points. Set of all points. And no, I'm not talking about space in the final frontier.
The sky is the limit.
Yeah, I'm not talking about space in the final frontier, but I'm saying the set of all points. So that we're talking about like 3-dimensional space itself. That there's a ton of points in here. Like every desk in this room could have multiple points on it. They're in different, they're in a different level, but this room encompasses them all. There's space in this room. Okay. You can put points anywhere you like. So, like for instance, I could put stipulations. So I could say I need a particular point that's in between A and B here. Okay, so there's A and B. Can somebody come up to the board and put a point on the board that is in between them? Between A and B up here. In fact, I'll give you this. You can put up a magnet.
Wait, one of us have to do that?
Okay. And I'll give you one of these colors you can pick.
Wait, one
So-
of us has to do this?
Yeah. I want to volunteer here. When you come up here and grab one of these magnets, I want the position in space that is in between A and B. Move the magnet to where you think the position is in between A and B. Okay. You'll have to use one.
Maybe he's gonna make it more popular. You want to make it wider because the magnet won't fit in there.
There you go. Okay. Any disagreements?
No?
No? Okay, I agree. Now, Connor.
Now it looks like crosshairs from
Okay.
Call of Duty.
All right. So, Connor, explain. Why did you pick that spot? You are correct.
Because it's right in the middle.
Right in the middle, like right in between them. So if you were to imagine there's a line connecting them, you pick the spot right in the middle. That word has a name. Okay? That spot you picked is called a midpoint
Or middle.
or middle point. Absolutely right. That's quote unquote, that is a middle point, a center. the perfect middle of them, center of your object. Okay. It's called a midpoint. Some people really get messed up by that. We're going to look at midpoints and other things like that. But that's if you had a line. So like most people like can kind of imagine the line that connects them, and you pick the spot that's right in the middle of them. That's perfect. Right in the middle. Okay, we're good with that?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Let's move on to the next word. That was good. Thank you for the volunteer. That was good. Let's go to the next one. Oh, geez.
Oh no.
The word line.
Man.
Okay, now here's the weird thing. The word line, there's 3 types of lines. There's 3 types, 3 categories of lines. Classifications, if you will.
Assassination classroom.
So classifications. Alright, the first one is obviously self-entitled. They call it a line. Self-entitled, a line. It is a geometric figure
My mom said she likes my outfit today. Black and green shoes,
that contains
green shirt,
at
jeans.
least 2
Watch.
points and continues in both directions without limit. Without limit. All right. Okay, that's a long definition. Let's discuss. Okay. A particular figure that contains 2 points on it, and it will continue in both directions without limit. Here is a picture of a line. They have arrows on it. Arrows mean it goes on forever, both directions. It contains at least 2 points. Let's call this C and D. Okay, that's a line.
A, B, C, D.
Yeah. So now, when you write the name of it down, like how you actually name it, the classification, the notation of a line. This is the part that I can catch people on. Is notation. Is how you actually write your answer. So if I ask, hey, what's a line that goes through these points? Here's how you write it. You write the 2 letters, and then you put arrows above it. 2 letters with the arrows above it. So if you haven't already, this is how you write a line. Okay, that's how you write it. You write 2 letters that are on it, and if there's multiple, you only write 2, and you put the arrows above it. Now, on a point,
It's a CD.
on points, this is how you write it. You write point, and you write the letter that you wanted. So the first point we start with A, so I'll write point A. That's how you write points, like a certain dot, you actually write the word point with the letter behind it. But on letters, you write, or on lines, you actually have to put 2 letters. Okay, questions on the first type? No? Okay. Now here's the goofy part, right? This is something that's going to really mess with you. Okay. You have a line, right? Continues both directions without limits. Has 2 points on it. Here's the weirdest thing ever. To make a point in the first place, 1 point, 1, 2 lines have to cross. Right. That line requires 2 points on it. But to make a dot a point in the first place, like one single dot, you actually have to have 2 lines actually intersect each other. And that forms a point in the middle of the board. So isn't that weird? Like, this line requires 2 points on it, but to make a line, or to make a dot in the first place, it has to have 2 lines. So like these would require other lines to go through. So you can make C and D specifically. It's called an interaction. This is something we're going to talk about at the very end of class today. We'll talk about the 3 types of interactions. Okay? All right, we're good with the first type of line. Okay. All right, hopefully you have that written down. Second type. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of these here. Second type. First type was self-entitled. Second one's called a line segment. A line segment. Okay, this one is a line. It is a geometric figure.
I think there's an I in there.
Line segment.
Yeah.
No.
Meant there was.
Yep. It is a geometric figure that contains 2 points and all points in between. So, 2 points. Now I've already used A and B and C and D, so let's go to E and F now. So, I have E and F on the board. Here's E, here's F. No particular order. And I'm going to draw the stick that connects them. But I'm not going to put arrows on it. Like, it definitely starts and stops. The figure contains those 2 points and all the points in between them, but nothing else. That is a line segment. Now, how you write it, like the notation for how you write a line segment, you know, that has 2 dots and it has endpoints, right? This is how you write. You write the 2 letters and you put a bar above it. No arrows on the bar. Now, what I just said a little bit ago, the 2 points, the outside points, the outside points, the very end caps, they are called endpoints. Endpoints are where that line segment actually ends, it stops. So it definitely has a length to it. We can actually measure that with a ruler. So if I went up there with, you know, my particular ruler here, we could figure out that maybe it's, what, 11.5 inches long, something like that. That's something we're going to look at, like how to measure out objects. But this one right here, is this measurable? Can I measure them? Why not?
Or can you? I actually
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
You
Can
need
I
an intersection.
What?
There's intersection to
Oh.
these points.
Can I measure that object? As arrows.
No, because it's infinite.
It's infinite in length. Goes on without limit. So your initial impression there, Sam, when you said no, you're absolutely right. Can't measure it. It has arrows. Like, I can't stop. This thing goes way past 39, 40. It'll just keep going. So, I cannot measure that object.
I remember seeing this movie about this one mining people that got into this really weird type of mining drill machine and trying to go through into the center of the earth. But
Okay.
they find like these weird worm-like, gigantic worm-like animals and stuff.
Sounds like
In crystal
Journey to the
fields.
Center of the Earth. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, but it's not that movie. It was an old one.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Wasn't The Core? I know there was The Core. That was one of the movies that came out like that.
That might be it.
Alright, anyways, those are 2 types of lines. Third line today. Okay, third line. So we've done lines, we've done line segments. The last one is called array. Array. It's a type of line. It is the geometric figure that contains one endpoint and continues in one direction without limit. Line but limit. So I need an endpoint, and it's going to continue in one direction. So here's my array. Here's my endpoint. I'm going to continue in this direction without limit. Now it is a line. It's a type of line, right? So how many dots do I need on it? How many dots are on lines? 2, right? 2. Okay, so this one, let's call this, I used E and F, so now we're up to G and H. Now, this is the one that messes with people. When you write arrays, you have to put the 2 letters down, like we did before. But now, what do I have to put above it?
A line.
An arrow. A single arrow, like a picture of an arrow. Now, the arrow, it doesn't matter which way the arrow faces. Okay, get that in your head. Doesn't matter the way it faces. You just have to make sure the arrow faces the direction that it's going through the certain letter. So it started at G And do you agree that it passed through the letter H? So this one, the endpoint's above G, and the arrow is going towards H. Okay, tomorrow, when we start reviewing this stuff again, I'm gonna have you do a lot of drawings tomorrow, where you have to like draw your own ray, you have to try to label it so you know how to label and all that good stuff. Okay, questions with any of that so far? Last word of the day, last word. The word plane. The word plane. And not an airplane, not aeronaut, but a geometrical plane. It is a limitless, flat surface. That contains at least 3 non-collinear points. Okay, so a flat surface that contains 3 points. So now it extends. So if you have a really good imagination, imagine that my marker board extends like in all directions, goes through the ceiling, through the floor, continues through the walls, and I have 3 dots that are what they call non-collinear. So I think I'm on I, J, and K. I think these are my letters I'm on to now. I, J, and K. What does it mean to be non-collinear? Look at my picture up here. Look at that picture of dots. What does it mean to be non-collinear?
I think triangle all the time.
What?
I think a triangle all the time.
Yeah, I agree. It's like a triangle, right? So the thing is, this is not it. Okay, you cannot put the dots like this. That's a straight line. That's collinear. I want to be non-collinear, not in a straight line. So a triangle of dots. That's the best way to put it. There's only one flat surface that can hold all of them. I'm going to do my marker board. Because if you try to pick up another flat surface and go through the marker board, you can only hit 2 at once. Only the marker board is the only one in this room that can actually have all 3 of those on it at the same time. Okay, questions on any of the geometric figures and definitions?
Yep.
Okay, tomorrow we're going to review that. I'll probably do a PowerPoint tomorrow. And I'm going to have you do a lot of drawing tomorrow. So you'll need your Chromebooks tomorrow. I think you're really going to like this. Okay?
Time to go.
Not yet. You got about 3 minutes here.